blues. Cause sure you don't ever know. Watch each card you play and play it slow. Wait till that deal come out. Don't you let that deal go down. No, no. Since it costs a lot to win, even more to lose. You and me better spend some time just wondering what to choose. Cause sure you don't ever know. Watch each card you play and play it slow. Wait till that deal come out. Don't you let that deal go down. Wait till that deal come out. Don't you let that deal go down. Wait till that deal come out. Don't you let that deal go down. Wait till that deal come out. Don't you let that deal go down. Wait till that deal come out. Don't you let that deal go down. Wait till that deal come out. Don't you let that deal go down.
There they go. The Grateful Dead with all the original members. 1989. Deal. Alright, we're getting ready for the presidential State of the Union address. My name's Jimmy. He's arrived at the podium. Jerry Garcia is still in the house. All right.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and the distinct honor to present to you the President of the United States.
Hey, is that President of the United States of America? Or just the United States? Just the United States or the United States of America? I don't know.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. please. Mr. Speaker, Madam Vice President, our First Lady and Second Gentleman, good to see you guys up there. Members of Congress, by the way, Chief Justice, I may need a court order. She gets to go to the game tomorrow, next week. I have to stay home. Got to work something out here. Members of the Cabinet, leaders of our military, Chief Justice, Associate Justice, and retired Justice of the Supreme Court, and to you, my fellow Americans. You know, I start tonight by congratulating the 118th Congress and the new Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy.
That ain't Joe Biden, man. I grew up watching Joe Biden on TV. That is not him.
But I look forward to working with you. And I want to congratulate the new leader of the House Democrats, the first African-American minority leader in history, Hakeem Jeffries. He won in spite of the fact I campaigned for him. Congratulations to the longest-serving leader in the history of the United States Senate, Mitch McConnell. Where are you, Mitch?
Bitch, McConnell.
And congratulations to Chuck Schumer, another...
Bitch, McConnell.
Another term is...
And Chuck Schumer, the groomer.
You know, I think you... only this time you have a slightly bigger majority, Mr. Leader, and you're the majority leader. About that much bigger? Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I want to give special recognition to someone who I think is going to be considered the greatest speaker in the history of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, whatever, man. I'll tell you what. This is, yeah, see you later, Nancy. It's over, bitch. You're gone. Get out. All right. Listen.
Of always moving forward, of never, ever giving up.
There's about as much excitement. This dude brings about as much excitement as watching the fucking paint dry.
Look, folks, that's what we're doing again.
We're the only country that's emerged from the crisis. Look, folks, that's what we're doing again. 2 years ago, the economy was reeling. I stand here tonight after we've created, with the help of many people in this room, 12 million, 12 million jobs because of all of you, the American people. 2 years ago, 2 years ago,
today, COVID no longer controls our lives. And 2 years ago, democracy faced its greatest threats in the Civil War. And today, though bruised, our democracy remains unbowed and unbroken.
Our democracy is unbowed and unbroken, the greatest threat since the Civil War. Today, through the broken and unbroken, bruised democracy of America.
We're writing the next chapter in the great American story, a story of progress and resilience. When world leaders ask me to define America, and they do, believe it or not, I say I can define it in one word, and I mean this: possibilities.
Money.
We don't think anything is beyond our capacity. Everything is a possibility.
As long as you got the money, honey, anything is a possibility.
But over the past 2 years, we've proved the cynics and naysayers wrong. Yes, we disagreed plenty. And yes, there were times when Democrats went alone. But time and again, Democrats and Republicans came together to defend a stronger and safer Europe. You came together to pass once-in-a-generation infrastructure law, building bridges connecting our nation and our people. We came together to pass the most significant law ever, helping victims exposed to toxic burn pits. And in fact,
man, give me a break. Seriously. This dude's a fucking moron.
it's important.
Yeah, whatever you say, man.
Act, the Electoral Count Reform Act, the Respect for Marriage Act that protects the right to marry the person you love. And to my Republican friends, if we could work together the last Congress, there's no reason we can't work together and find consensus on important things in this Congress as well. I think folks, you all are as informed as I am, but I think the people sent us a clear message. Fighting for the sake of fighting, power for the sake of power, conflict for the sake of conflict gets us nowhere. That's always been my vision of our country, and I know it's many of yours. To restore the soul of this nation, to rebuild the backbone of America, America's middle class.
I thought his vision was possibilities.
We've been sent here to finish the job, in my view.
Yeah, finish the job.
For decades, the middle class has been hollowed out.
Uh-huh. They're sent here to finish the job, all right.
Administration, but for a long time.
They're going to finish
Too many
it.
good-paying manufacturing jobs move overseas.
Yeah.
Factories closed down.
Yeah.
Once thriving cities and towns that many of you represent.
What are you going to do to finish it off? Tell us what you're going to do.
Along the way, something else we lost. Pride, our sense of self-worth. I ran for president to fundamentally change things.
To
make sure our economy works for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So we can all feel that pride.
Right. How do you feel the pride?
Build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not from the top down. Because when the middle class does well, the poor have a ladder up, and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well. I know a lot of you always kid me for always quoting my dad, but my dad used to say, Joey, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. He really would say this. It's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay, and mean it. Well, folks, so let's look at the results. We're not finished yet by any stretch of the imagination, but unemployment rate is at 3.4%, a 50-year low.
Yeah, whatever you say.
Near record unemployment. Near record unemployment for black and Hispanic workers. We've already created, with your help, 800,000 good-paying manufacturing jobs, the fastest growth in 40 years.
And
where is it written?
Hey, the manufacturing jobs, they pay like $12 an hour.
Manufacturing, and I don't know where that's written.
And pretty soon, those will be gone because of robots.
Jobs. Now, thanks to what you've all done, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs. Folks.
Oh, is that a miracle that we're actually creating products and exporting them? I thought that's pretty much what we've been doing.
Pandemic disrupted our supply chains.
Oh, we stopped doing that?
Unfair.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We sent everything to China. That's right.
Ukraine disrupted energy supplies as well as food supplies, blocking all that grain in Ukraine. But we're better positioned than any country on earth right now. But we have more to do. But here at home, inflation is coming down. Here at home, gas prices are down $1.50 from their peak. Food inflation is coming down, not fast enough, but coming down. Inflation has fallen every month for the last 6 months.
Yeah, inflation is falling, but the interest rates are rising. Inflation is falling, but rates are rising.
Applied to start new businesses, 10 million. And by the way, every time
10 million new businesses just started. What are they going to do? If every one of them hired one person, that'd be 10 million people into the economy. Some don't smell right about that statistic.
Just come into being. Standing here last year, I shared with you a story of American genius and possibilities. Semiconductors, small computer chips the size of a fingerprint that power everything, from cell phones to automobiles and so much more. These chips were invented in America. Let's get that straight. They were invented in America. We used to make 40% of the world's chips. In the last several decades, we lost our edge. We're down to only producing 10%. We all saw what happened during the pandemic when chip factories shut down overseas. Today's automobiles need 3,000 chips, each of those automobiles. But American automobiles couldn't make enough cars because there weren't enough chips. Car prices went up, people got laid off, so did everything from refrigerators to cell phones. We can never let that happen again. That's why we came together. That's the Folks, I know I've been criticized for saying this, but I'm not changing my view. We're going to make sure the supply chain for America begins in America. The supply chain begins in America. We've already created 800,000 new manufacturing jobs without this law, before the law kicks in. With this new law, we're going to create hundreds of thousands of new jobs across the country. And I mean all across the country, throughout not just the coast, but through the middle of the country as well. That's going to come from companies that have announced more than $300 billion in investment in American manufacturing over the next few years.
300 billion in manufacturing. Let me ask you a question, son. Is this guy literally in 2023 up here explaining what a silicon chip is to people who just don't quite understand it all? Seriously? Come on, man. I swear to God, I don't know. I don't know. It's too much.
Ohio, Intel is building semiconductor factories on 1,000 acres.
So they kicked all these fuckers out of here, man, because of the shit that they used to make this stuff. They used to make it all right here, right in the Silicon Valley. And like when I was a young man, I used to take a bunch of these temporary jobs. Man, I was working in board scrubbing factories down here. There was tanks of shit in there. There was this one giant tank called black oxide. And it was inside this room, and the boards would come through this process, and they'd come out to me, and I'd have to take them off this belt and put them on these drying racks. You know, and so after standing there for like 3-4 weeks, I looked at the dude that was the supervisor guy, and I go, "Hey, man," I said, "What's that over there?" You know, the black oxide. I was pointing inside this room. So it had, you know, explosion-proof glass between me and there and all this, and there's alarms and stuff. And he goes, "Yeah, that's not good stuff." And I go, "Huh?" And he goes, "You see that alarm right there? You see that little alarmy thing?" You know, I'm like, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, if you see that go off, you might as well kiss your ass goodbye." So they got rid of a lot of that, you know, here in the Bay Area. So, I guess they're going to be bringing it back, though, to help bolster that middle class.
Literally a field of dreams. It's going to create 10,000 jobs, that one investment. 7,000 construction jobs. 3,000 jobs in those factories once they're finished. They call them factories. Jobs paying an average of $130,000 a year, and many do not require a college degree.
These jobs are paying, in Ohio is where they're going to build this. These jobs are paying $130,000 a year without college degrees in Ohio. Huh. Well, that's about $10,000 a month. That's $2,500 a week. You know, That's barely enough to survive in the Bay Area. Right now, things ain't looking good. I'm telling you right now, man. The prices of shit here is literally, it's like being on an island almost. Like, used to go on vacation to Hawaii, and you trip on how much things cost over there. You're like, damn, you know, $9 for a candy bar? Shit. Well, everything comes in on a boat, you know. Yeah, I guess it does. Well, so now it's cheaper to live in Hawaii than it is in California, man. Gas is cheaper, I think, there than it is here.
Jobs. Because we work together, these jobs where people don't have to leave home to search for opportunity. And it's just getting started. Think about the new homes, the small businesses, the medium-sized businesses. So much more that's going to be needed to support those 3,000 permanent jobs and the factories that are going to be built. Talk to mayors and governors, Democrats and Republicans, and they'll tell you what this means for their communities. We're seeing these field of dreams transform to the heartland. But to maintain the strongest economy in the world, we need the best infrastructure in the world. And folks, as you all know, we used to be #1 in the world in infrastructure. We've sunk to 13th in the world. The United States of America, 13th in the world in infrastructure, modern infrastructure. But now we're coming back because we came together and passed the bipartisan infrastructure law, the largest investment in infrastructure since President Eisenhower's interstate highway system.
That infrastructure bill is a business opportunity for you if you got what it takes to do it, because that infrastructure bill is paying states and counties for more multi-family dwellings. So what you could do is you could dangle the dollars in front of your city council and get them to change some of those office buildings that you got that no one's in anymore. You know, those small little office building complexes where used to have shitloads of insurance salesmen, different doctors, dentists, shit like that. Well, check it out. None of those are being rented out because people aren't doing that anymore. People realized, you know, when they had to work from home during the lockdown, they realized they didn't need to spend that money anymore. So shitloads of people have moved out of that stuff, that space. So you've already got the space, you've already got the plumbing, you've got the parking, you got everything you need. All you got to do is go in as a remodel contractor. You know, take advantage of some of these incentive programs, throw some solar panels on that bitch, you know, so on and so forth. And then, sit back and start collecting that money. And when you get that fat check, don't forget old Jimmy over here, languishing in mediocrity on the internet. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not languishing in mediocrity. I'm languishing in obscurity, in a world of mediocrity.
Already we've funded over 20,000 projects, including major airports from Boston to Atlanta to Portland. Projects that are going to put thousands of people to work rebuilding our highways, our bridges, our railroads, our tunnels, ports, airports, clean water, high-speed internet, all across.
Let me ask you a question, okay? Where's all these construction workers going to come from? Okay, because the average age of a construction worker in America, like 5 years ago, was 45. So those guys are 5 years older, so I guess the average age is like 55 now, because nobody wants to get in construction anymore. Want to get dirty, don't want to get their hands dirty, don't want to have to tote that bale, lift that barge, that kind of shit. So fools go to college and get $150,000 in debt when they could have went to the apprenticeship program and been taking part in some of these projects he's talking about. Because trust me on this, any projects going through on this infrastructure bill has to do with the unions. All right? And So, but I'm just asking you, where are the workers going to come from? Well, you know what? They know where the workers are going to come from because they've been letting them in. See? They got to have those workers, see?
It's America. Urban, rural, tribal. And folks, we're just getting started. We're just getting started. And I mean it sincerely. I want to thank my Republican friends who voted for the law, and my Republican friends who voted against it as well. But I still get asked to fund the projects in those districts as well. But don't worry. I promised I'd be a president for all Americans. We'll fund these projects. And I'll see you at the groundbreaking. Look, this law will further unite all of America. Projects like Brent Spence Bridge in Kentucky over the Ohio River, built 60 years ago, badly needed repairs, one of the nation's most congested freight routes, carrying $2 billion worth of freight every single day across the Ohio River. And folks, I've been talking about fixing it for decades, but we're really finally going to get it done. I went there last month with Democrats and Republicans and from both states to deliver a commitment of $1.6 billion for this project. And while I was there, I met a young woman named Sarah, who's here tonight. I don't know where Sarah is. Is she up in the box? I don't know. Sarah, how are you? Well, Sarah, for 30 years, I learned, she told me she'd been a proud member of the Iron Workers Local 44, known as...
What did I fucking tell you?
Known as the Cowboys in the Sky. The folks who built Cincinnati's skyline. Sarah said she can't wait to be 10 stories above the Ohio River building that new bridge. God bless her. That's pride. And that's what we're also building. We're building back pride. Look, we're also replacing poisonous lead pipes that go into 10 million homes in America, 400,000 school and child care centers. So every child in America can drink the water instead of having permanent damage to their brain. Look, we're making sure.
What? Oh, I mean, are you serious? You can't drink the water in America? And I mean, millions of our children are having damage to their brain? I mean, he's admitting that. Isn't that extend the line of culpability for damages? I don't know. It sounded like he admitted that there was damage from this. I don't know.
We're making sure that every community in America has access to affordable high-speed internet. No parent should have to drive by McDonald's parking lot to help them do their homework online with their kids, which many thousands were doing across the country. And when we do these projects, and again, I get criticized for this, but I make no excuses for it.
Did he just make $10,000 for saying McDonald's has internet that you can just drive to and do your kids' homework on it? I don't know. Maybe he got something, for sure. He did mention it.
We're going to buy American. We're going to buy American. Folks, and it's totally consistent with international trade rules. Buy America has been the law since 1933, but for too long, past administrations, Democrat and Republican, have fought to get around it. Not anymore. Tonight, I'm announcing new standards that require all construction materials used in federal infrastructure projects to be made in America. Made in America. I mean it.
That's because they don't want that shitty Chinese steel, man. You know, there's only one plant left in America that makes the kind of steel that doesn't rust. Seriously. China can't make steel. No one can make steel like America. And seriously. So they're going to have to open up some steel plants.
Lumber, glass, drywall, fiber optic cable. And on my watch, American roads, bridges, and American highways are going to be made with American products as well. Folks, my economic plan is about investing in places and people that have been forgotten. So many of you listening to me tonight, I know you feel it. So many of you felt like you've just simply been forgotten. Amid the economic upheaval of the past 4 decades, too many people have been left behind and treated like they're invisible. Maybe that's you watching from home. Remember the jobs that went away. You remember them, don't you? The folks at home remember them. You wonder whether the path even exists anymore for your children to get ahead without having to move away. Well, that's why I get that. That's why we're building an economy where no one's left behind. Jobs are coming back. Pride is coming back. Because choices we made in the last several years. You know, this is, in my view, a blue-collar blueprint to rebuild America and make a real difference in your lives at home. For example, too many of you lay in bed at night like my dad did, staring at the ceiling, wondering what in God's name happens if your spouse gets cancer or your child gets deadly ill, or something happens to you. What are you going to have? You get money to pay for those medical bills? Or you're going to have to sell the house or try to get a second mortgage on it. I get it. I get it. With the Inflation Reduction Act that I signed into law, we're taking on powerful interests to bring healthcare costs down so you can sleep better at night with more security. You know, we pay more for prescription drugs than any nation in the world. Let me say it again. We pay more for prescription drugs than any major nation on earth. For example, 1 in 10 Americans has diabetes. Many of you in this chamber do, and in the audience. But every day, millions need insulin to control their diabetes so they can literally stay alive. Insulin's been around for over 100 years. The guy who invented it didn't even patent it because he wanted it to be available for everyone. It costs the drug companies roughly $10 a vial to make that insulin. Packaging and all, you may get up to $13. But Big Pharma has been unfairly charging people hundreds of dollars, $400 to $500 a month, making record profits. Not anymore.
They've been unfairly testing their experimental cures on us until they find out they can't use it anymore. Oh, but hey, don't worry, your diabetes medicine is going to be cheaper. Stand by. We'll wait for that to happen, Joe.
So many things that we did are only now coming to fruition. We said we were doing this, and we said we passed the law to do it, but people didn't know because the law didn't take effect until January 1 of this year. We capped the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors on Medicare. People are just finding out. I'm sure you're getting the same calls I'm getting.
Hey, listen, how about if we tell you what we're gonna do, Joe? We're gonna drop the price on Medicare seniors to $35. Okay? Just keep your mouth shut about the Veritas revelations and leave us alone for another, I don't know, 6 months or so.
Folks, the Big Pharma's still going to do very well, I promise you all. I promise you, they're going to do very well.
Oh.
This law also caps and won't even go into effect until 2025. Costs, out-of-pocket drug costs for seniors on Medicare at a maximum of $2,000 a year. You don't have to pay more than $2,000 a year, no matter how much your drug costs are. Because you know why? You all know it. Many of you, like many in my family, have cancer. You know the drugs can range from $10, $11, $14, $15,000 for the cancer drugs. If drug prices rise faster than inflation, drug companies are going to have to pay Medicare back the difference. We're finally giving Medicare the power to negotiate drug prices. Bringing down prescription drug costs doesn't just save seniors money, it cuts the federal deficit by billions of dollars, by hundreds of billions of dollars.
Man,
These prescription drugs are drugs
The
purchased by Medicare.
the people that still actually go down there and vote down at the booth and stuff, they're all people who are on Medicare.
Savings for the federal government. And by the way, why wouldn't we want that?
And it doesn't take effect until 2025, I think he said.
And I know it's not an official party position, so I'm going to exaggerate. But certainly to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act. As my coach, that's okay, that's fair. As my football coach used to say, lots of luck in your senior year. Make no mistake, if you try anything to raise the cost of prescription drugs, I will veto it. Look, I'm pleased to say that more Americans have health insurance now than ever in history. A record 16 million people are enrolled in the Affordable Care Act. And thanks to the law I signed last year, millions are saving $800 a year on their premiums. And by the way, that law was written and the benefit expires in 2025. So my plea to some of you, at least in this audience, let's finish the job and make these savings permanent. Expand coverage of Medicaid.
The question is, why are people so fucking...
Reduction Act is also the most significant investment.
Why are people so fucking sick that they have to be able to afford insurance because they might go in the hospital someday for some shit? Because everybody knows eventually you'll have to go in the hospital for some reason. So everybody just pays up front for insurance. But whoever thought insurance would be like $2,500 a month, $3,000 a month after month after month after month. What did they do to make our food healthier and everything that we're eating and all that? What are they doing for that? Because I mean, it's just like these doctors prescribing shit for symptoms, to make your symptoms go away. They don't do anything about why you got the symptom, but they just take care of it so you don't suffer from the symptom. But they don't do shit about what the original problem was. And if you don't get to the root of the original problem, which is obviously the food that we're eating, and clearly the water that we're drinking in America and these pipes going into our schools causing cancer in our children, what he just said. I mean, come on, man. You know why I've said this on the show a million times. They don't allow GMOs in Europe because they have socialized medicine. Here, you can put whatever the fuck you want in there. You make up a chemical and put it in there. Or dispose of your industrial waste and put it in your water.
Ever in climate change. Ever. Lowering utility bills, creating American jobs, leading the world to a clean energy future. I visited the devastating aftermath of...
Lower utility bills? See that right there? There it is. It's right there in plain black and white. Lower utility bills. Anybody got lower utility bills? No? Well, my utility bill from last month, electricity and everything, water, $500. Yep. And that's with wood. I'm using wood. Burning wood. So the rest of it is when the heater is on or whatever else. Lights. You know, that type of thing. So, yeah. Okay, so listen, I've dicked around long enough so that we're way behind the actual speech. Do you want me to continue from here? Or do you want me to just zip to the... I can skip and see where I see him getting agitated, and then I can stop it. It's up to you. I'll let it go for now. You guys tell me in the chat.
Floods, droughts, storms, and wildfires from Arizona to Mexico to all the way up to the Canadian border. More timber has been burned, as I've observed from helicopters, than the entire state of Missouri. And we don't have global warming? Not a problem. In addition to emergency recovery from Puerto Rico to Florida to Idaho, we're rebuilding for the long term. New electric grids that are able to weather major storms and not prevent those forest fires. Roads and water systems withstand the next big flood. Clean energy to cut pollution and create jobs in communities often left behind. We're going to build 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations installed across the country by tens of thousands of IBEW workers. And we're helping families save more than $1,000 a year with tax credits to purchase electric vehicles and efficient appliances, energy-efficient appliances. Historic conservation efforts to responsible stewards of our land. Let's face reality. The climate crisis doesn't care if you're in a red or blue state. It's an existential threat. We have an obligation, not to ourselves, but to our children and grandchildren to confront it. I'm proud of how America, at last, is stepping up to the challenge. We're still going to need oil and gas for a while. But guess what? No, we do. But there's so much more to do. We've got to finish the job. We pay for these investments in our future by finally making the wealthiest and biggest corporations begin to pay their fair share. Just begin. Look, I'm a capitalist, but pay your fair share. I think a lot of you at home agree with me and many people that you know. The tax system is not fair. It is not fair. Look, the idea that in 2020, 55 of the largest corporations in America, the Fortune 500, made $40 billion in profits and paid zero in federal taxes? Zero? Folks, it's simply not fair. But now, because of the law I signed, billion-dollar companies have to pay a minimum of 15%. God love them. 15%. That's less than a nurse pays. Let me be crystal clear. I said at the very beginning, under my plans, as long as I'm president, nobody earning less than $400,000 will pay an additional penny in taxes. Nobody, not one penny. But let's finish the job. There's more to do. We have to reward work, not just wealth. Pass my proposal for the billionaire minimum tax. You know, there's 1,000 billionaires in America. It's up from about 600 at the beginning of the term. But no billionaire should be paying a lower tax rate than a school teacher or firefighter. I mean it. Think about it. I mean, look. I know you aren't enthusiastic about that, but think about it. Think about it. Have you noticed Big Oil just reported its profits, record profits? Last year they made $200 billion in the midst of a global energy crisis.
See, if he was a little bit more energetic. I think we just discovered how to make Joe Biden more likable. Is just to speed him up real quick. He sounds like if he was delivering his dialogue that fast, it would be like his brain was working that fast, and then you'd feel confident that he was making decisions or whatever. But I mean, it's like the slow-mo. Watch, I'll run it like this for a while, and then I'll put it back to the original.
I think it's outrageous. Why? They invested too little of that profit to increase domestic production. And when I talk to a couple, and they say, we're afraid you're going to shut down all the oil wells, all the oil refineries anyway, so why should we invest in them? I said, we're going to need oil for at least another decade. And that's going to exceed. And beyond that, we're going to need it. Production. If they had, in fact, invested in the production to keep gas prices down, instead, they used the record profits to buy back their own stock, rewarding the CEOs and shareholders. Corporations ought to do the right thing. That's why I propose we quadruple the tax on corporate stock buybacks and encourage long-term investments. They'll still make considerable profit. Let's finish the job and close the loopholes that allow very wealthy to avoid paying their taxes. Instead of cutting the number of audits for wealthy taxpayers, I just signed a law to reduce the deficit by $114 billion by cracking down on wealthy tax cheats. That's being fiscally responsible. In the last 2 years, my administration has cut the deficit by more than $1.7 trillion, the largest deficit reduction in American history. Under the previous administration, the American deficit went up 4 years in a row. Because those record deficits, no president added more to the national debt in any 4 years than my predecessor. Nearly 25% of the entire national debt that took over 200 years to accumulate was added by just one administration alone, the last one. They're the facts. Check it out. Check it out. How did Congress respond to that debt? They did the right thing. They lifted the debt ceiling 3 times without preconditions or crisis. They paid American bills to prevent an economic disaster in the country. So tonight I'm asking the Congress to follow suit. Let's commit here tonight to the full faith and credit of the United States of America will never, ever be questioned. Some of my Republican friends want to take the economy hostage. I get it. Unless I agree to their economic plans.
See, if we were the focus group, we would have just figured out that they need to give Joe, they need to give him some meth right before he does his speeches. Just, old school, It's one of those little white sniffer bottles. Here you go, Joe. And then he just comes in there and just rips an ass. Look at him. He seems energetic. He seems focused. He seems like he's got a direction. Yeah.
All of you at home should know what those plans are. Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's the majority. Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see you. And I tell you, I enjoy conversion. It means if Congress doesn't keep the programs the way they are, they go away. Other Republicans.
Everything is better. His eye movement is faster. His facial reactions, his smiling, along with his delivery. I'm telling you, look at it. Look at it, Butthead. Great recommendation to speed him up. It was Butthead's idea. If we had a image building company and we were doing a focus group, Butthead would get the $100 bill right now for coming up with that. Here you go.
I can say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't even think it's even a significant, but it's being proposed by individuals. I'm not politely not naming them, but it's being proposed by some of you. Look, folks, the idea is that we're not going to be moved into being threatened to default on the debt if we don't respond. Folks,
you know what I mean? Everything about, like, moving around, this and that and the other thing. Like, if you see him normal, he's like, hey, barely making it up to the podium. He's all fucked up. But this way, he's all... He's got shit going on in his mind, man. I don't know. I'll bet you, if I played this sped up and no one knew who it was, they think he was a young up-and-comer. The new Barack Obama. You can just come up with you can have the AI create a character for this voice and have it speak. Have it do a deep fake where it's just a really, who knows? You can make it be whatever you want, any different character, and speaking like this, the new up-and-comer.
so folks, as we all apparently agree, Social Security and Medicare is off the books now, right? We're not going to be sorry? All right. Ready? We got unanimity. Social Security and Medicare are a lifeline for millions of seniors. Americans have to pay into them from the very first paycheck they started. So tonight, let's all agree, and we apparently are. Let's stand up for seniors. Stand up and show them. We will not cut Social Security. We will not cut Medicare.
Plus, the other thing is he's talking so fast, most people are not catching the majority of what he's saying. They're only hearing the bullet point, exclamation point thing. That's the takeaway from everything else he just said in the normal speech. But it's interesting, the delivery and the energy around it, man. This is fucking great. Butthead, you're a genius.
Those benefits belong to the American people. They earned it. If anyone tries to cut Social Security, which apparently no one's going to do, and if anyone tries to cut Medicare, I'll stop them. I'll veto it. And look, I'm not going to allow them to be taken away. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. But apparently it's not going to be a problem. Next month, when I offer my fiscal plan, I ask my Republican friends to lay down their plan as well. I really mean it. Let's sit down together and discuss our mutual plans together. Let's do that. I can tell you, the plan I'm going to show you is going to cut the deficit by another $2 trillion. And it won't cut a single bit of Medicare or Social Security. In fact, we're going to extend the Medicare Trust Fund at least 2 decades, because that's going to be the next argument. How do we keep it solvent, right? Well, we'll not raise tax on anyone making under 400 grand, but we'll pay for it the way we talked about tonight by making sure that the wealthy and big corporations pay their fair share. Look. Here's the deal. They aren't just taking advantage of the tax code. They're taking advantage of you, the American consumer. Here's my message to all of you out there. I have your back. We're already preventing Americans from receiving surprise medical bills, stopping $1 billion surprise bills per month so far. We're protecting seniors' life savings by cracking down on nursing homes that commit fraud, endanger patient safety, prescribe drugs that are not needed. Millions of Americans can now save thousands of dollars because they can finally get a hearing aid over the counter without a prescription.
Millions of Americans can now save thousands of dollars. Millions times thousands. I don't know. I think it's billions. Are you serious? So, I mean, they're down to like the State of the Union. He's like talking about these microscopic winnings, you know? Oh, hey man, hey, check it. Millions of people are saving thousands of dollars on hearing aids over the counter. That's right. There you are. Feel proud. It's America. When they asked him to define America earlier in the speech, he said, I can define America in one word. Possibilities. So I guess the possibilities are expanding the horizons for the millions of people saving thousands of dollars on hearing aids.
Look, capitalism without competition is not capitalism. It's extortion. It's exploitation. Last year, I cracked down with the help of many of you on foreign shipping companies that were making you pay higher prices for every good coming into the country. I signed a bipartisan bill to cut shipping costs by 90%, helping American farmers, businessmen, and consumers. Let's finish the job. Pass the bipartisan legislation to strengthen antitrust enforcement and prevent big online platforms from giving their own products an unfair advantage. My administration is also taking on junk fees. Those hidden surcharges too many companies use to make you pay more. For example, we're making airlines show you the full ticket price up front, refund your money if your flight is canceled or delayed. We reduced exorbitant bank overdrafts by saving...
Well, thanks a lot for doing that, man. Isn't that what you're supposed to do when you're running a business? What I'm saying is, the issues he's confronting are hitting such a small minority of anybody that, like, he is not speaking to the majority of anyone. And he's speaking, it's for the last fucking however many minutes this has been, he's been speaking specifically to people that have problems with their health. You know, most of this has been about health, you know. So far, I mean, the jobs that are going to be there, I told you, if you're not in a union, you can kiss those jobs goodbye. You better go down and join the IBW, man. That's what I'm telling you. Did you hear how many he said? Some like, I forgot what he said, but he specifically called out the IBW. It's one of the strongest unions in the country, which is the union that I was in. So,
It was more than $1 billion a year. We're cutting credit card late fees by 75%, from $30 to $8. Look, junk fees may not matter to very wealthy, but they matter to most other folks in homes like the one I grew up in, like many of you did. They add up to hundreds of dollars a month. They make it harder for you to pay your bills or afford that family trip. I know how unfair it feels when a company overcharges you and gets away with it. Not anymore. We've written a bill to stop it all. It's called the Junk Fee Prevention Act.
Hey, great, man. Well, what are you doing about the cost of fucking putting chickens in the pot, dude? People can't... I mean, listen. In order for money to go in to the system, it has to get paid in. So there has to be people that are on the books working, and deductions are being taken out of those people. And then those people have to use what's left of that and to go down and get something to eat. And they don't have a lot left over there for something to eat. And some people don't even have jobs. So that tax money is not going in there. So more people that are out of work, no taxes are being put into the system. No Medicare is being paid in, and it's like, the guys that are paying in now are paying for the people that are already on it. You know what I mean? He mentioned Medicaid back a while back. Scott, he did mention it, but I mean he went on and on about it, how he's not going to touch it and whatnot. But I do like the more energetic. See, even though he looks old, he's energetic, so he doesn't seem old. He just seems like he's got gray hair. But his normal, like, slow Joe Mo, looks like he's about to crap his pants. That one doesn't work. But this Joe could probably go strong in 2024.
We're going to ban surprise resort fees that hotels charge on your bill. Those fees can cost up to $90 a night at hotels that aren't even resorts. The idea that cable, internet, and cell phone companies can charge you $200 or more if you decide to switch to another provider. Give me a break. We can stop service fees on tickets to concerts and sporting events and make companies disclose all the fees up front. And we'll prohibit airlines from charging $50 round trip for family.
I'm serious, man. Do you guys agree with me? What the fuck is he talking about, man? He's talking about absolutely nothing. I mean, the issues he's talking about compared to the issues that are actually going on in the world right now, I don't know, man. This is the State of the Union, and he's telling us about bills he's putting together that is going to protect the little guy or whatever. Fuck the little guy. There ain't going to be nothing left, man. It's going to be Road Warrior in about 30 seconds when those EBT cards go back to the normal payments. And everybody goes off the pandemic payment they were getting. That's about to end. And all of a sudden, people aren't going to have food. The EBT cards, they're not going to go as far as they used to. Yeah, he's off on his own monorail. Exactly.
To be able to sit together. Baggage fees are bad enough. Airlines can't treat your child like a piece of baggage. Americans are tired of being. We're tired of being played for suckers. So pass. Your 4-year degree, no matter their background they came from. Let's give public school teachers a raise. Make sure working parents can afford to raise a family with sick days, paid family medical leave, affordable child care. That's going to enable millions of more people to go and stay at work, and let's restore the full child tax credit.
More sick days, more.
And cut child poverty in half to the lowest level in history. And by the way, when we do all these things, we increase productivity, we increase economic growth. So let's finish the job and get more families access to affordable quality housing. Let's get seniors who want to stay in their homes the care they need to do so. Let's give more breathing room to millions of family caregivers looking after their loved ones. Pass my plan so we get seniors and people with disabilities the home care and services they need. And support the workers who are doing God's work. These plans are fully paid for and we can afford to do them. Restoring the dignity of work means making education an affordable ticket to the middle class. When we made public education, 12 years of it universal in the last century, we made the best educated, best paid, we became the best educated, best paid nation in the world. But the rest of the world's caught up. It's caught up. Jill, my wife, who teaches full time, has an expression. I hope I get it right, kid. Any nation that out-educates us is going to out-compete us. Any nation out-educates is going to out-compete us. Folks, we all know 12 years of education is not enough to win the economic competition of the 21st century. We want to have the best educated workforce. Let's finish the job by providing access to preschool for 3 and 4 years old. Studies show that children who go to preschool are nearly 50% more likely to finish high school and go on to earn a 2 or 4 year degree, no matter their background they came from. Let's give public school teachers a raise.
I agree. Give public school teachers a raise, and I also want to assert that they're also union. All right, so don't forget that. Then again, I guess this is the State of the Union address.
We're making progress by reducing student debt, increasing Pell Grants for working and middle-class families. Let's finish the job and connect students to career opportunities starting in high school. Provide access to 2 years of community college, the best career training in America in addition to being a pathway to a 4-year degree. Let's offer every American a path to a good career, whether they go to college or not. And folks, in the midst of the COVID crisis, when schools were closed and we were shutting down everything, let's recognize how far we came in the fight against the pandemic itself. While the virus is not gone, thanks to the resilience of the American people and the ingenuity of medicine, we've broken the COVID grip on us. COVID deaths are down by 90%. We've saved millions of lives and opened our country back up. And soon we'll end the public health emergency. But that's called a public health emergency. But we'll remember the toll and pain that's never going to go away. More than 1 million Americans lost their lives to COVID. 1 million. Families grieving. Children orphaned. Empty chairs at the dining room table constantly reminding you that she used to sit there. Remembering that, we remain vigilant. We still need to monitor dozens of variants and support new vaccines and treatments. So Congress needs to fund these efforts and keep America safe. And as we emerge from this crisis stronger, we're also got to double down on prosecuting criminals who stole relief money meant to keep workers and small businesses afloat. Before I came to office, you remember, during that campaign, the big issue was about inspector generals who would protect taxpayers' dollars who were sidelined. They were fired. Many people said we don't need them. And fraud became rampant. Last year, I told you the watchdogs are back. Since then, we recovered billions of taxpayers' dollars. Now let's triple the anti-fraud strike force going after these criminals, double the statute of limitations on these crimes, and crack down on identity fraud by criminal syndicates stealing billions of dollars from the American people. And the data shows that for every dollar we put into fighting fraud, the taxpayers get back at least 10 times as much. It matters. It matters. Look, COVID left its scars, like the spike in violent crime in 2020, the first year of the pandemic. We have an obligation to make sure all people are safe. Public safety depends on public trust, as all of us know. But too often that trust is violated. Join us tonight are the parents of Tyree Nichols. Welcome. I had to bury Tyree last week. As many of you personally know, there's no word to describe the heartache or grief of losing a child. But imagine if you lost that child at the hands of the law. Imagine having to worry whether your son or daughter came home from walking down the street, or playing in the park, or just driving a car. Most of us in here have never had to have the talk that brown and black parents have had to have with their children. Bo, Hunter, Ashley, my children. I never had to have the talk with them. I never had to tell them if a police officer pulls you over, turn your interior lights on right away. Don't reach for your license. Keep your hands on the steering wheel. Imagine having to worry like that every single time your kid got in the car. Here's what Tyree's mother shared with me when I spoke to her. When I asked her how she finds the courage to carry on and speak out. The faith of God, she said her son was, quote, a beautiful soul, and something good will come of this. Imagine how much courage and character that takes. It's up to us, to all of us. We all want the same thing. Neighborhoods free of violence. Law enforcement who earns the community's trust. Just as every cop when they pin on that badge in the morning has a right to be able to go home at night, so does everybody else out there. Our children have a right to come home safely. Equal protection under the law is a covenant we have with each other in America. This background checks for 18 to 21-year-olds. Red flag laws, keeping guns out of the hands of people who are a danger to themselves and others. But we know our work is not done. Folks, it's difficult, but it's simple. All of us in this chamber, we need to rise to this moment. We can't turn away. Let's do what we know in our hearts, what we need to do. Let's come together to finish the job on police reform. Do something. Do something. That was the plea of parents who lost their children in Uvalde. I met with every one of them. Do something about gun violence. Thank God. Thank God we did. Passing the most sweeping gun safety law in 3 decades. That includes things like that the majority of responsible gun owners already support. Enhanced background checks for 18 to 21-year-olds. Red flag laws, keeping guns out of the hands of people who are a danger to themselves and others. But we know our work is not done. Join us tonight is Brandon Say, a 26-year-old hero. Brandon put his college dreams on hold to be at his mom's side. His mom's side when she was dying from cancer. And Brandon now works at the dance studio started by his grandparents. And 2 weeks ago, during the Lunar New Year celebrations, he heard the studio door close. He saw a man standing there pointing a semi-automatic pistol at him. He thought he was going to die, but he thought about the people inside. And in that instant, he found the courage to act and wrestle the semi-automatic pistol away from the gunman who had already killed 11 people in another dance studio. 11. He saved lives. It's time we do the same. Ban assault weapons now. Ban them now. Once and for all. I led the fight to do that in 1994. In 10 years, that ban was law, mass shootings went down. After we let it expire in the Republican administration, mass shootings in decades to compete with China or anyone else in the world. Anyone else in the world. And I'm committed. I'm committed to work with China where we can advance American interests and benefit the world. But make no mistake about it. As we made clear last week, if China threatens our sovereignty, we will act to protect our country, and we did. Look, let's be clear. Winning the competition should unite all of us. We face serious challenges across the world. But in the past 2 years, democracies have become stronger, not weaker. Autocracies have grown weaker, not stronger. Name me a world leader who changed places with Xi Jinping. Name me one. Name me one. America's rallying the world to meet those challenges, from climate to global health, to food insecurity, to terrorism, to territorial aggression. Allies are stepping up, spending more, and doing more. Look, The bridges we're forming between partners in the Pacific and those in the Atlantic. And those who bet against America are learning how wrong they are. It's never, ever been a good bet to bet against America. Never. Well, when I came to office, most assured that bipartisanship was.
It's not letting me speed it up anymore. I think it's because I'm right on the live moment. Hold on, let me
Sovereignty. We stand for the right of people to live free of tyranny. Will we stand for the defense of democracy? For such defense matters to us because it keeps peace and prevents open season on would-be aggressors and threatens our prosperity. 1 year later, we know the answer. Yes, we would, and we did. We did. And together, we did what America always does at our best. We led. We united NATO. We built a global coalition. We stood against Putin's aggression. We stood with the Ukrainian people tonight. We're once again joined by Ukraine's ambassador to the United States. She represents not just her nation, but the courage of her people. Our ambassador is here. We're united in our support of your country. Will you stand so we can all take a look at you? Thank you. Because we're going to stand with you as long as it takes. Our nation is working for more freedom, more dignity, more peace, not just in Europe, but everywhere. Before I came to office, the story was about how the People's Republic of China was increasing its power, and America was failing in the world. Not anymore. We made clear, and I made clear in my personal conversations, which have been many, with President Xi, that we seek competition, not conflict. But I will make no apologies that we're investing to make America stronger. Investing in American innovation and industry will define the future that China intends to be dominated. Investing in our alliances and working with our allies to protect advanced technologies so they will not be used against us. Modernizing our military to safeguard stability and deter aggression. Today, we're in the strongest position in decades to compete with China or anyone else in the world. Anyone else in the world. And I'm committed. I'm committed to work with China where we can advance American interests and benefit the world, but make no mistake about it. As we made clear last week, if China threatens our sovereignty, we will act to protect our country, and we did. Look, let's be clear. Winning the competition should unite all of us. We face serious challenges across the world. But in the past 2 years, democracies have become stronger, not weaker. Autocracies have grown weaker, not stronger. Name me a world leader who changed places with Xi Jinping. Name me one. Name me one. America's rallying the world to meet those challenges, from climate to global health, to food insecurity, to terrorism, to territorial aggression. Allies are stepping up, spending more, and doing more. Look, the bridges we're forming between.
Let's see that old name me one. He looked all aggressive, but in real time, he's all name me one. You want to see it in real time? Let's see. Let's watch it in real time. Hold on a second. Let me get it. Normal. All right, now.
Innovation and industries will define the future that China intends to be dominated. Investing in our alliances and working with our allies to protect advanced technologies so they will not be used against us. Modernizing our military to safeguard stability and deter aggression. Today, we're in the strongest position in decades to compete with China or anyone else in the world. Anyone else in the world. And I'm committed. I'm committed to work with China where we can advance American interests and benefit the world, but make no mistake about it. As we made clear last week, if China threatens our sovereignty, we will act to protect our country, and we did. Look, let's be clear. Winning the competition should unite all of us. We face serious challenges across the world. But in the past 2 years, democracies have become stronger, not weaker. Autocracies have grown weaker, not stronger. Name me a world leader who changed places with Xi Jinping. Name me one. Name me one. America's rallying the world to meet those challenges, from climate to global health. To food insecurity, to I'm committed to work with China where we can advance American interests and benefit the world, but make no mistake about it. As we made clear last week. If China threatens our sovereignty, we will act to protect our country, and we did. Look, let's be clear. Winning the competition should unite all of us. We face serious challenges across the world. But in the past 2 years, democracies have become stronger, not weaker. Autocracies have grown weaker, not stronger. Name me a world leader who changed places with Xi Jinping. Name me one. Name me one. America's rallying the world to meet those challenges, from climate to global health, to food insecurity, to terrorism, to territorial aggression. Allies are stepping up, spending more, and doing more. Look, the bridges we're forming between partners in the Pacific and those in the Atlantic, and those who bet against America are learning how wrong they are. It's never, ever been a good bet to make.
Cut me down with those angry eyes. You wanna believe that I am not the same as you. Now I can't conceive, oh Lord, of what it is you're trying to do with those angry eyes. Well, I bet you wish you could cut me down with those angry eyes. What a shot you could be if you could shoot at me with those angry eyes.
That's Logan Messina. Sitting in again. Those dudes. Good musicians. The Independent Broadcasting Network. I'm Jimmy. It's the night shift. Extended version.
Darkness, darkness, be my pillow. Take my head and let me sleep in the coolness of your shadow, in the silence of your deep. Darkness, darkness, hide my yearning for the things that cannot be. Keep my mind from constant turning toward the things I cannot see now. Things I cannot see now. Things I cannot see. Darkness, darkness, long and lonesome is the day that brings me. I have felt the edge of sadness. I have the depth of fear. Darkness, darkness, leave my blanket. Cover me with the endless night. Take away the pain of knowing. Fill the emptiness of right now. Emptiness of right now. Emptiness of right
Yes, the same kind of story that seems to come down from long ago. Two friends having coffee together when something flies by their window. It might be out on that lawn, which is wide, at least half of a playing field. Because there's no explaining your imagination see and feel. Somebody tonight will be hypnotized. Now it's not a meaningless question to ask if they've been and gone. I remember a talk about North Carolina.
It's Peter Green and his version of Fleetwood Mac. It's all dudes in it.
try my phone, but I'm almost by the border now. I miss the nights when it was you and I wanna call you back, can't get no signal 'cause I'm on the dark side of the moon. I wish you came around, but I'm a million miles away with no light on the dark side of the moon.
With Got to Be into bounce backs.
Dream out loud.
been fighting these memories, reliving a dream of a life meaning nothing to me. I can't keep hoping for a love that's broken when the devil is holding the key. All these years gone by, not a tear's left to cry. I just want to believe. Every moment with you I spent came to a bitter end. Now you're just a memory. Holding on to you, knowing you don't belong with me. That's the cold and honest truth, but it won't steal my destiny. 'Cause I know that I've been down, beaten up and drug around. The place that I call home just isn't for me. I'm packing my bag of loneliness and said I'm heading down the road to fulfill this dream. Smoking my fears away, another high, another day. When will I escape from this prison I've built? This anxiety inside of me creates a hole, a vacancy in my mind. I try to find a reason to heal.
It's the independent broadcast network. My name's Jimmy. It's the night shift, man. My iPad died, so I can't log into the chat over at intothemicrocosm.com, so I can only make comments in there as null. I'm over here in the chat room. It's 20 some odd people here. We're forging on through the lonely, cold night here in the Santa Cruz Mountains. This is Daniel Holgren Buck. Moonshine got me.
personal moving and storage team.
That's Moonshine Got Me. That felt good, no? Daniel Norgren. Moonshine Got Me. Here, let's continue.
Moonshine got me. Moonshine got me. Sunshine's for me.
was young once, girl of the bohemian kind. In the cold, bright dawn, we watched her grow. Wisdom begun, season when the river was was high on the gravestone lawn. I walked alone, me and my heart, following the shadow she made, like a dull sky day. I chased the sun back at the start. I was still in love with the way. It's a long way from what's become. She's got it bad for me. She's got it bad for me. The only game she played now, turn me out the way. She's got it bad for me. She's got it bad for me. The only game she played. Newly grown up, folded up the colors we wore. See the all-new girl, rehearsed and well, filling my cup, laying at the edge of the shore. See the way she moves, I broke the spell.
Body so fit, so full of spark, with affirmations as your wall art. You were driven, eyes on the prize. A yoga routine, home exercise. Now like the faded star, in sunset.
All right, that's going to do it for us over here on IBN. We're going to stay on YouTube, but got to say goodbye to you, IBN. It's the night shift. We'll see you tomorrow night.
One last day, there never was a
I gotta cruise. It's time to eat. Thanks. Hope you had a good time. I'll see you tomorrow night. It's a good song, eh? Take care.
Treat yourself